The last key point here that I want to discuss is emphasis and variety. So we need to have a focal point within the photo. There has to be something that draws our audience in. And so that's one of the most important decisions that as a photographer you can make. We use all of these different elements and they help add interest, but we need to have emphasis. We want to keep the viewer's eye moving around the photo. That's the key thing. We don't want to terminate prematurely where they look and they're gone. We want to keep them interested. So with a lot of variety in that piece, it will keep them moving, keep them looking, but we have to have a point of focus, a focal point of the work. When we look at these examples here, this we see there's some good contrast in color. We've got different textures, but it is kind of boring because the balance here is pretty symmetrical. We're not really utilizing rule of thirds, which we'll discuss much more in detail in the coming weeks. If we do something at a different angle, we just look at this in a little bit different way. We get under the flowers, and this is what we get. Much more interesting. Definitely having a focal point, but is there enough interest? Depends on who it is that's looking at this. But a little bit more drama in that. Here again, we have some emphasis. We have a focal point. On this one, really playing with that depth of field. So quickly, it's a very shallow depth of field because it quickly becomes out of focus. But again, here are my little tree crabs walking on the tree. There's an interesting thing to look at. I look at the texture of those little crab things. We look at the texture of the bark on these trees. And so there's a point of interest. So this is something to think about. How can we draw our viewers into our photo and keep them interested?